democracy being run here. And with what we have seen in the past few days, gale of defection from parties to other parties, especially in this case from the PDP, individuals, a particular state structure moved, and jumped ship into the APC, the ruling party at the center. Even the NNPP had the unfair share of a senator and his structure moving into the APC. And many persons are wondering what happens to the ideology, what happens to real internal democracy, party supremacy, and the real care for the people. This jumping on ship, which is not entirely new, but with what we have seen, it seems nothing is happening, and you can actually find it difficult to really pinpoint a line within all of these political parties to say this is what they stand for. Now, yesterday, from the NNPP, Senator Kawu officially and formally joined the ruling party, and it has made the APC to say, as far as 2027 is concerned, it's a done deal. And they have vowed to win all off-season elections coming up. Many gubernatorial elections have been prepared for, starting with Anambra and then Ondo State, Ekiti State, Osun State, even before the general elections as well. And that was echoed by the national chairman of the party. He's a happy man right now, obviously. And he disclosed these when he formally received some defectors from the Kano State chapter of the NNPP, led by the senator representing Kano South, Senator Kawu Ismaila. And, at that place, many politicians were there as well. And this is what he said as Abdullahi Ganduje, former Kano governor and the chairman, national chairman of the APC, saying, APC, we believe in our president, Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu. We believe in his economic reforms. We believe in his renewed hope agenda, and part of his political renewed hope agenda is trying to canvass for more followership into the party. We started by democratically electing governors, especially in Edo State, who was in PDP. We elected. We succeeded in winning the election. He is now in APC. And he says, and he went on and say, as far as 2027 is concerned, it's a done deal. Now, this morning, we are looking at, these defections, alignment and realignment. Is it truly about Nigerians? These political actors looking for a platform to really serve, or it's just a self-serving mode. And, in Delta State, just 2 days ago, a governor of the PDP, former governor, who was a former vice presidential candidate, was singing the mantra of Tinubu, President Tinubu's on your mandate we shall stand. Perhaps you've forgotten. Take a look. Of course, we have with us today Isiaq Babatunde Adigungbadamosi. He's public affairs analyst. If you call him a politician, fine. If you call him a finance expert, yeah, it's also okay. He joins us virtually this morning. Mr. Gbadamosi, good morning. Thank you for joining us.
Good morning, Femi. Thank you for having me.
All right. From the PDP power to your mandate we shall stand, to Papa Mama Pikin of the Labour Party, to the food basket of the NNPP, it seems there is no more line, no fine line again in Nigeria. What do you make, before we even go into the nitty-gritty, make of the recent defections as we have seen in the past few days?
Okay, thank you very much. One of the things that has become very obvious over time in the past few days is that Nigerians are coming to terms, or would have to come to terms with the fact that most of the political elites we have today are all about themselves. They're all about their interests. They're all about what
All right. We'll try and reconnect, because it's always an interesting one.
Would benefit them.
All right. If you can hear us, please go ahead.
Personally,
Okay. The team will work on that, and it's a good one that he has started from that point. That it seems Nigerians will have to come to that reality. Okay. All right. We'll work on that.
A political.
Why we try to reestablish connection there, I guess he's talking about the fact that most politicians in Nigeria are just self-serving. It's all about their selfish interests. They make those moves, those calculations, just to favor their own interests. And that's quite unfortunate. That's what we've been saying. Because how else do you explain? I mean, entire party structure of a state, the governor, the deputy, or the commissioners, members of his cabinet, all the local government chairman, everyone, including members of the party, unanimously defecting. And look at them singing on your mandate. I mean, when I saw that,
led by the governor himself,
I felt embarrassed.
Who took the mandate of the people on the platform of the PDP, and he has taken it to another party. Maybe some might head the other way as well. We don't know. But then, is it really still about the people? That's the question here. Is it just about this? You know, when I say, yeah, it's about my people, and whatever I can see the platform to serve them, I will serve them. Truly, what happens to the ideology?
They are being insincere. It has never been about the people. Of course, that's what Ifeanyi Okowa said, that they have to make that move that is all about the people, and that's a pure lie. It's not about the people. You don't have the people in mind. You don't have the interest of the people in mind. What's Ifeanyi Okowa saying? You don't have the interest of the people. If you truly have the interest of the people in mind, you will do what's best for the people. It's quite unfortunate.
They might be saying he's trying to do what's best for the people.
Ifeanyi Okowa actually, when he was in office, I mean, he did some work, some commendable work, but I was disappointed when I saw him jumping ship. And again, it is quite clear.
He's a Nigerian politician.
It's quite clear. You can't tell us that you are doing it for us. I mean, I'm a citizen of Delta State. You're not doing it for me. That's the truth. That's also the belief of many other citizens of Delta State.
I guess when you get to the forum of Delta people, you get to discuss that.
No, I'm speaking for myself. That you said he might be doing it for the people. I'm saying he's not doing it for the people. Yeah. That's what we believe.
Mr. Gbadamosi, are you here with us now?
Yes, I am. The network seems to be acting up.
Apparently, we hope it gets better.
Yes. Like I was saying earlier.
Yes, please go ahead.
I hope so.
Please go ahead, sir.
Yes, like I was saying, I was citing the example of Delta State. So the one is that is most recent. And what you see in Delta State is a very practical case of politicians serving their own personal interest. How do I mean? You have a state that has a governor.
Quite unfortunate, we're having some technical challenges
the
there.
Downside of technology.
Yeah, we'll try to re-establish connection, but again, it's still saying the same thing. What I just said now. That it's quite obvious to many Nigerians that most of these politicians are not serving the interests of the people. I asked that question yesterday. When you win an election under a particular platform, and all of a sudden you decide to leave. Yes, some people will say, if the party is having challenges, they can leave. But look at this one, unanimous decision for all of you to just dump your party. Okay, let's look at it this way. Let's look at it from this angle. If truly their party had a particular ideology, they have a set of beliefs, what they stand for, are you saying all of a sudden, overnight, you just switched to a different set of ideologies? And you claim, okay, if they say it's about the people, tell me, how many people did they consult before they did that? Let's just say hypothetically it's about the people now. Did they consult the people? No. They held a meeting at the government house over 6 hours. The meeting lasted over 6 hours. And they came out with that unanimous decision. The question is, if truly you are serving the interests of the people, when did you consult the people?
Well, we'll continue to ask these questions because as at this part of the discussion, ours is to ask the question.
Absolutely.
And, you know, we don't know what has happened, but we keep asking the question. And, you know, in the case of Wole Oke, you know, a representative of Obukunri Adedeji North of the state, he said he consulted his political family, his immediate family, his associate, and they told him it's time we move, according to him, in that letter from Wole Oke. And that's his own take. You know, either he has done it or he hasn't done it. Either they have a platform where they do that. We don't know. We are never privy to such information. But then, one sacrosanct thing that we can do is to keep asking this question. Mr. Gbadamosi, hope you are with us now.
Yes, I'm hearing you now loud and clear.
All right, please go ahead. Land on your thought.
Yes, I was citing the example of Delta State and the recent development there. And you could see if you have an entire party structure, the elected officials and even the appointed ones, and the party structure itself, chairman, party chairman, state chairman, ward chairman, and all of them moving in one sweep into another political party. What does that tell you? You have wiped out PDP completely in that state. That is one. Then secondly, you have gone to another party to kill the aspiration of all the other people who are maybe having any aspiration there now. Let us be clear about this. A Festus Keyamo, who happens to be the aviation minister, has the aspiration to become governor in 2027. And that aspiration has not been hidden. He's been doing a lot of work here and there. The former senator also in the Delta State, I've forgotten his name now, he also has such aspiration. Now, what this game is all about is for them to have one party in Delta State. So there is not going to be any opposition. Because if the governor becomes the #1 person in APC, it means that all other aspirations will have to step down for ease. And mind you, this governor is a first-term governor, so he's looking forward to a second term.
Absolutely.
So the question I really ask is, where is the interest of Nigerians in this whole thing? Where is the interest of the people of Delta in this whole thing? Where is the interest of the development of our democracy? Because if we are just pushing the ideology and the belief of one or the interest of a group of people, at the end of the day, the collective interest and collective success and wealth of the people will suffer.
All right, Mr. Gbadamosi, like you said, the people will suffer for it. Like you just mentioned now, let's look at the peculiar politics in Delta State. The entire PDP structure defecting to the APC. And like you said, there are people in the APC who already have ambitions to become governor. Interestingly, the Minister of Aviation himself, Festus Keyamo, he was actually applauding that move, saying, oh, you are welcome to the APC. But we know there will be rancor in the long run because a lot of people are interested. Of course, Sheriff Oborivori is just a first-time governor. He would like to run for the second time. We have other people there. We have Senator Ned Nwoko, who initially did not want Sheriff to defect to the APC because he also has his own ambition. We have Senator James Manager. So a whole lot of them will have to come together and come to a consensus. And of course, at the end of the day, like the PDP camp is saying, they will have issues and some people will have to go back to their party. But my question to you is this, Mr. Gbadamosi. Are you not concerned? What is your concern right here when we talk about the fight against corruption? Because if people are making their moves based on selfish interest, are we truly fighting corruption here? There are rumors in some quarters that people are actually defecting simply because they have cases to answer with the EFCC. And we all know that once you join the ruling party, like someone once said, your sins are forgiven. What does that say about our fight against corruption as a nation?
I think the oppositions most times are always looking for excuses for their failure. The opposition has not lived up to expectation. And when they jump ship, they're always looking for excuses to justify their failure. And that is exactly the case we have here. For me, how do you explain the former running mate of an opposition party jumping ship? What happened to the ideology? What happened to the belief and conviction he had about changing the country based on the campaign they did? Is it that he had mistaken the first time? What if I had voted for him and believed in all that he has told me? It tells me that something is really amazing. Now, coming to the issue of corruption and the fight against corruption. You see, I have said this severally. all of these people we are talking about, be it the former governor Okowa or the former governor Dom from Akwa Ibom State, or even all the other ones that have left government and all of that, they are not just people. They are not random people on the street. They are people who have capacity. They are people who are accomplished in their various rights before they even come into politics. So they are not able to be bamboozled by anybody or to be coerced or to be intimidated. No, they are not. But what they are doing today is protecting their own political selfish interest. Now, let's go back. The issue of corruption, as far as I'm concerned, saying that when you move to the ruling party, your sins are forgiven, I don't think that is correct. Because the EFCC will always come after you. Whether they do it, they do it the right way or not, is under kettle of fish. Whether they get a conviction or not is under kettle of fish.
But Mr. Gbadamosi, yes. Sorry to cut in here. The EFCC is actually under the president. They still take direction from the president. But
the EFCC in practical terms, or in what it ought to be, is supposed to be an independent corruption investigation and prosecution body. So it doesn't have anything to do with president. As long as there is a petition against a person or an individual, the EFCC will pursue the case. And we have seen a number of cases the EFCC has pursued and even has secured conviction, even in corruption cases. But what have we gotten? We have seen them pardoned. So you're telling me that everything that the EFCC has put into such cases in terms of manpower, in terms of time and everything has come to naught after you have pardoned such a person that has been found guilty of a crime. So it tells me that the issue of fighting corruption itself is not really the issue per se. The issue here is the selfish interest of those we call our political elite.
All right. And there are one or two persons who might say this is not entirely new. Actually, that we've seen defections in the past, but one of the persons championing the call for coalition and merger right now, that is vice presidential, running mate, actually, is running mate, that's Okowa, who has just jumped ship from the PDP to the APC. One would say, even the candidate himself of the PDP in the 2023 election, that is former Vice President Atiku Abubakar, has jumped ship severally from the PDP to the APC, or the ACN rather, to the PDP back, with the APC and now in the PDP, and is the one championing coalition right now and talking about merger. Although the party has said they are not open, the governors of the PDP are saying they are not open to any merger talks. Let's stay as PDP, even when they have lost one of their own right now. Umoena, one will say maybe it's a matter of when, not a matter of if, because he has shown who he's going to work for. And Senator Kawu, say it wasn't originally with the with the NMPP. It was the tsunami of the 2023 election that brought him, led by Kwakwanso. And then that, in that picture that we showed earlier, you could see him in that meeting with the APC. Of course, there you go. Have that meeting with these people with the APC. My point exactly is, really, do we really still need parties, based on parties? Because there have been calls for independent candidacy. Let's just go there. Let Nigerians not be cajoled, and politicians, it appears like they are one or the same. In fact, there are many persons who are saying, we have just heard about the people that are speaking up, that before 2027, many persons will still jump ship. So that's what birthed that question this morning. Is it still about the people? Has it always been about the people? At least let's start from 1999 now. Or it's just politicians looking for opportunity to get into power, and whatever they can give the people, they give. Whatever they can take, they take. Really?
Well, it has been about the people from the early times. I'm not talking of 1999 now. I'm talking of our early political life. I'm talking of the 60s, the 50s. Yes, it was about the people. It was about development. I mean, if you take a look at the kind of development that we achieved in those times, in the 50s, in the 60s, and even the 70s, It was about the country. It was about vision. It was about taking the country to a better place and all of that. But I think with what we have since 1999, I think the country has really unraveled over time. Our political system has greatly unraveled in the sense that those that are in the political space are people who really do not have an understanding of what the democracy is all about. What they are there for is to get power and to use power for their own selfish interest. So these are the things I think we need to change in our political culture. And that is why you see people move from one political party to another. And the reason is this: all that they are looking for is getting power. As it is right now, Nigerians cannot say, we cannot say for sure that this political party is the one that serves the interests of the people. Because most of the things that we have seen is all about the politicians and the politicians and the politicians. And you can see it in the way they carry themselves. There isn't any iota of empathy. Nigerians are poor. There is hunger in the land, and Nigerians are growing under the policy, these very excruciating policies. But they care less. And unfortunately, that is not how it's supposed to be.
All right.
Talking about independent candidacy, this is a constitutional matter. And for me, I don't think it's anything that is difficult or anything like that. But who are those that are going to legislate this into existence? The same people we are talking about. And the thing is this: I do not want to talk about politicians as people who are coming from the moon. They live among us. They grew up among us. But the truth about it is that when they get to those positions, the behavior and attitude changes, and they proceed to behave in other ways. And until Nigeria understands this, and Nigeria also decide that they want to have leaders who will care for them and not just collect 1,000 naira and get a rapper during the electioneering period, until that happens, we might still have such leaders in position.
All right, Mr. Gbadamosi. You said it before that most times it's not about the people, that these politicians are simply serving their own interests. For instance, you gave an example. You said for those who actually voted in favor of the former governor of Delta State, who was the vice presidential candidate in 2023, and how would they feel if all of a sudden they see their candidate jumping ship? Now that brings to question, let's talk about the citizens now, the electorate. Do you really think that these people, these politicians, have any respect for the voters, for the electorate? Because if they do, would they be making such decisions? For instance, when we have someone who contested under a party and all of a sudden is jumping ship, it simply means he doesn't care about the voters. And let's look at the electorate in Nigeria. In most elections, Mr. Gbadamosi, we've always had voter apathy, low turnouts of voters. In some cases, you have less than 20%. If you look at the population, compare that to the number of registered voters and those who turn out to cast their votes. Are you not worried that Nigerians are beginning to lose faith, increasingly losing faith in the electoral system in Nigeria? Because most people believe their votes don't count anymore. That what should they do? And again, I think these politicians and some opinion in some quarters will believe that these politicians are actually convinced that they can get into office regardless of who the people vote for. What's your concern?
Well, let me start from the last thing you said. The politicians are not convinced that they can get into office regardless of who the people vote for. No. What they do is that they know they can manipulate the people to achieve what they want. And you see, I will also put this at the doorstep of the electorate, the voters. Unfortunately, maybe it's lack of voter education, or maybe it's the level of poverty in our land and all of that. The voters have presented themselves to the politicians as people who want to get immediate reward now, before even the politician come into office. Let me give you an interesting example. Politicians will go on political campaign, and you have the electorate demanding that they fix their roads, that they give them money, that they do X, Y, Z in their community in exchange for their votes. Now, the question you ask is,
where is this politician going to get all of this money? We have seen politicians who will install electric solar panels and electricity, build clinics and the rest, for even when he's not in office. So when he gets to office, what do people expect of him? You cannot expect him to optimally serve you because he already has served you in the first instance. So I think the electorate also have a good portion of this blame. But for me, our leadership must understand that the reason why they are the leadership is because they seem to have superior ideas in how to fix our country and our society. And if they will not fix this country and this society, the decadence will continue, the poverty will continue, the hunger will continue, and at the end of the day, we might not have a country because by the time the people are hungry, there will be a revolt. And when there's a revolt, the government might collapse. So these are things that we must understand as leaders. We must push the boundaries and see how we enlighten our people, make them better citizens so they could make better choices. Not even for today, it's for our children and our children's children, and for what we call our country. Other than that, we are wasting our time because if we continue like this, we would not have any headway.
But in your opinion, Mr. Gbadamosi, in this case, what can the electorate do? When we have people who are hungry, sometimes they just want to get that cash. They just want to get that money just to cast their votes. They are really hungry. They are suffering. In this case, what do you think the electorate can do? Because some of them actually know the truth. They know that some of these politicians are not, serving their interests. But you ask yourself the question, what are the options presented to the electorate most times? Sometimes they just look at all of them. At the end of the day, they are just recycling the same set of people. So do the electorate in Nigeria truly have the right options? Can they pick? Do they have, the leverage to choose their leaders truthfully?
Well, there are options that the Nigerian electorate have. And these options are, one, to face the issue of unemployment. Let us create, when you have a system that is not working for you, you need to look for a way out of it and solve the problem. Now, the electorate must stop the habit of making demands on potential candidates that are coming to contest the election or aspirants. You don't when you start making demands on them, you are already taking what they're going to do for you when they get to office, because you will not be able to make demand of them for accountability when they get to office again. So the electorate, for me, must shun any kind of gratification or gift that is coming from the politician. That is the first thing. The second thing is that we as Nigerians, we must join political parties, belong to political parties, form the grassroots, and even most of the elite you have, unfortunately, those that are enlightened and educated in our society don't join political parties. The people that are in political parties are the poor and the illiterate people around the villages. So what kind of decision do you expect them to make? And it is these people that will form what you call the delegates that will go to elect people to be presented as candidates for parties. So we must look at a situation whereby more Nigerian elite, educated, exposed people join political parties from the grassroots and participate actively. Other than that, we'll have a continual recycling of what we are having today. Then to take it further, we must also look at, as electorates, what are the things we need in our environment, in our community. When these politicians come, tell them, these are what we want you to do for us when you are elected. If eventually you're elected, you can make demands of him. I'm sure, and I know, that when politicians come like that, they will bring something. They will want to prevent some. It is incumbent on people to say, no, we don't want this. If you do that, we are sending a clear message to that politician that we do not want your money, but we want you to deliver on your promises. Until we start to do this, we might not find it. These are the options for me, I think the electorates have.
Yeah, one would say that it's the same politicians that have impoverished those people so that they will be left with no choice. Somebody who has been in government for like forever who has an opportunity to possibly build good schools, employ personnel, influence development to that community, possibly would rather be giving them handouts. And because they are poor, when the time for election comes, the people are hopeless. They feel if you can't collect whatever you want to collect now, it's over for you. It makes no change. And that is part of why they do what they do. So when politicians come and say, oh, don't take their money, or, you know, and just vote your conscience, it looks like just motivational speaking. And earlier you talked about people of conscience, elites, joining political parties. Mr. Gbadamosi, the same political parties and the party holders are the one jumping ship. So does it matter if they join or not? The same thing will still happen.
Well, it does matter. It does matter because I will cite an example for you. I was a civil servant at the federal level. I retired and joined politics. I have been a union activist. I have been a wealth creator, and I've done a lot of things. And I felt, and I've criticized the process a lot. And I decided that, look, enough of criticism. Why don't I get involved in this? And right now, I am also politically involved in my local area. Yes, it is difficult. People might even be afraid of you. They might look at you as somebody who is a threat to the system. But we can't afford to abandon this ship. We must continue to push the boundaries. You know, one of the things that some people say, and it to me sounds like just throwing our hands up and surrendering. No, we can't afford to surrender. You talk about motivational speaking. What I say is not motivational speaking. It's the reality. If we don't do it, we won't get another result. We will be getting the same result we are getting. And until such a time we are bold enough to take the bull by the horn as Nigerians, and as people, let me dive a little bit into what happens during election.
Okay.
Take, for example, when election comes up, most of you who are journalists are on the field, studio, during break of the election. Most of you don't vote. The military are also on duty. Most of them don't vote. The police are also on duty. Most of them don't vote. The doctors and nurses are on essential services. Most of them don't vote. And these are the core elite who have opinions, who can influence opinion. And at the end of the day, who are the people that vote? At the end of the day, the people that vote are those who can be easily convinced and who can be easily swayed. So some of the things we continue to push is the fact that the elites in this country, those who are enlightened in this country, must get involved in the process, must get involved in politics, must vote, and also enlighten their people to do the right thing so as to get the kind of results they want to get.
All right, Mr. Gbadamosi, you talked about inclusivity, that the elite should join, everybody should join so that we can vote. So let's assume that a lot of Nigerians decide to join political parties. How will that work out? Is it not still a problem of our belief system? Because most people believe once you join the political party, you are entitled to some fringe benefits. Before you know it, they share monies here and there. People won't even question what is the source of this money. And the politicians sometimes, they tell you, the monies we've been sharing, where do you think we got it from? So again, it is still about our culture as a people. Do you think we are ripe for that? Because once you talk about politics in Nigeria, the first thing that comes to mind is sharing of money. Okay, I understand we are due for a break. Mr. Gbadamosi, just please hold that thought. We are due for a break right now. When we return, you will attend to that question. Please stay with us. Okay. Mr. Gbadamosi, I believe you're still with us. Going back to the question I asked before we went on that break, you have encouraged people, the elites, to join politics. And my question is this: if everyone joins politics, if the elite joins politics without a refined mindset on the part of the general public now, don't you think they will still be influenced by those who have always been playing this game in a particular way? Because the average Nigerian, sees politics as a means of wealth acquisition. That's the wrong notive that a lot of people have about politics. So most people believe, oh, once it's about politics, there's always money to share, money to throw around, money to go around. So don't you think that we should first look at our mindset as a people, have a refined mind before talking about everyone joining politics? Because the people there still have a way of influencing anyone who joins politics.
Oh, well, talking about politics, culture, and mindset, I want to take you a little bit back. The whole thing about what you call money politics today has its roots in the 90s. Let me say the late 80s, early 90s. That's under the regime of former President Ibrahim Babangida. And those were times when the things you call money politics really started. And by 1999, for me, it was perfected. Now, before that time, we had a culture, and this culture is still here with us. You have the Omoluabi ethos of the Yorubas. It's not just a saying. Yorubas are not people who are about money. It's about your integrity, your dignity, the way you carry yourself. I mean, the way you speak and all of that. These are things that are imbibed in an average Yoruba person. So if you are talking about the culture, it means that that culture was introduced at a particular point. And if we have a deliberate effort to reverse that culture, we will achieve it. But the question is, our people must be enlightened to the extent to understand that this trajectory upon which we are cannot take us to where we want to be. We must go back to what it used to be. We must go back to what we used to be as a people. People who have their dignity and integrity intact. So you don't have to wait for the politician. As a people, as Nigerians, we question our children when they go out and bring something that does not belong to them. And that should be a culture that should continue all the way to adulthood and even old age. But as a people, we have been infused with a different mindset, as it were. We need to reverse it because we are seeing now, we are all seeing it now that it is not serving us and it will not serve us well. At the end of the day, only a few will benefit from what we have today, and the multitude would be at the point at the same end of it.
All right, Mr. Gbadamosi. Just to add to what you said quickly, talking about the elite joining politics, we've seen cases of well-educated people joining politics in Nigeria, and the people had so much faith and trust in them. Ifeanyi Okowa we're talking about here, he's well-educated, he's a doctor, and we have so many others. But what happens? Some people will say, Mr. Gbadamosi, and I believe you agree with me, some people will say we have people who had good intentions. I mean, the elites who had good intentions before joining politics, but as soon as they join politics, it's as if they just lost all their ideas. What happened to them? Oh, unfortunately, I think we are not.
We have a multiplicity of political parties. These political parties all have manifestos. Most of the politicians in these political parties don't even understand what is in the manifesto. But as an individual, you have a reason for going to politics. If your reason for going to politics is not about making money, what we see today from our politicians is what we see from them. But if your intentions are to go fix the wrongs in our society, then it doesn't matter what happens. It will not really sway you. Yes, I agree with you. I'm not being naive about the fact that there are very strong forces within the political space that would influence what you do and what you say and even what you want to achieve. But you cannot say because of that we will not try. And when I talk about people getting involved in politics, you started Okowa being a medical doctor. I'm talking of at the grassroots level. We must all participate in politics at the grassroots level. And if we do not do that, people there are people who come from outside this country, they make some good money, and by then they throw money around, they get the party ticket, and they contest the election and they win. What do you think they have come to do? They are doing business. So that is the reason why we must recoil back to what we used to be, to ensure that people come into power, the elite participate in politics, they join from the grassroots, and they identify those that put forward as people who have the interest of the nation and people at heart before they go into politics.
All right. Mr. Badamasi, we have to switch gears right now. But before we do that, so that we expand with this topic, yes, politicians are cross-carpeting. Some of them have left a particular party A to party B and then return to A, goes to C, and all of those things. So that doesn't appear like we are just vilifying them. Either a politician cross-carpets or not, and as we have seen, many persons have jumped ship and they might still jump ship back and forth. Does it stop politicians who are seeking office when they get to their office, irrespective of the party, to do what they are supposed to do? For example, James, Sheriff Obrewari has left the PDP, joined the APC. Does that stop him from doing what he's supposed to do? It's just party politics. You know, don't you think some might say it doesn't matter? If he has good intention, he can still achieve it wherever he is. And maybe we are just overflogging this issue of politicians cross-carpeting. It doesn't change the fact that they can do good wherever they are. Can we see from that angle?
I partly agree with that. But what about the fabric of our political system that has been destroyed? Now, in Delta State, we have vanquished PDP completely. That means there is no opposition party. Well, maybe there are opposition party, but they don't exist. So, and you, as a political party, talking of the governor now, who should have been a formidable opposition, who could have helped to build at the state level and build at the national level, so that we have a strong opposition to the government in power. You have now joined the government in power. So you have really taken away the thing about democracy. And besides that, you have gone into a political party. Virtually, you have swallowed up every other interest in that party. Now, the question you are having for me is this. It's not whether he has good intention or he can do whatever he wants to do. A lot of damage is being done to our political structure, to our political system, and the opposition is gradually losing it. As it is right now, if the Delta State is out of the way and Akwa Ibom also follow suit, Rivers follow suit, at the end of the day, we're going to have a one-party state. How do we run a democracy like that?
All right.
So for me, I think the greater damage that is done to democracy, that is really my own worry.
That's the worry. And just like I said, we are due for a break. In just 1 minute, Abdullah Ganduje said 2027 is a done deal. The signs are there. He's very confident. Right?
It might be pleasant, it might be surprised.
All right.
Because I do know that Nigerians will switch here anytime.
Okay.
PDP at the time said they will rule for 16 years, and they didn't survive 16 years.
All right.
So,
all right. I think you have made it known already. The World Bank has given the outlook about the economy come this year, and it's not very interesting. We'll talk about that after now. Stay with us.